Hello and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Today is double Hermitcraft day. This is an idea that I've been thinking about for a while and I thought why don't we just try it. So there is going to be 2 episodes of Hermitcraft today and I'll explain in a little more detail later on about why I'm doing that. But first of all we're just going to jump back into doing the usual building and all that sort of stuff that we always do. But you may be wondering what these things are if you didn't see the last episode. Well, this is the Endergolf, or Endergoth as I Am Spoon would call it, little circuit that we made last time, and the idea is to throw the Ender Pearls and get from one to the other, and yeah. So anyway, we were talking about this, and we're thinking of building like a, I don't know what you'd call it really, like a playground or a fairground area near spawn, where there'll be things like this, Ender Golf, and other little mini games. So I'm not going to keep this here permanently. It is kind of funny just to have floating different coloured wall around the place, but it's going to get on my nerves after a while because I like Avalon to be nice and clean looking, and that is something we should probably do soon. I think this place kind of needs a clean up. There's lots of unfinished things, especially the mob spawner. That one's really looking ugly. I've still got that dirt track going all the way around the tube up to the top. But yeah, anyway, the first thing that I want to do is head over to the station that we built over the other side near the Nether hub at spawn, because a lot of you left suggestions and ideas and we have a fix for the station over there. So if you remember last time we were here I was talking about setting up a second track just over here and having a timed circuit so that when the minecart came along and no one was in it, it would redirect it off into a different direction. Now that's a really inefficient way of doing this, and someone pointed out in the comments that you can use tripwire to detect the player, so I thought straight away that's a really good idea. But what if we put the tripwire right here, and then that would activate this powered rail? And after I thought that, I kept reading through the comments and quite a few other people had the same idea as well. But it's a great idea because it just means that if we dispense a minecart, nothing's going to happen until we actually get in it, and then it's going to get powered and send us on our way. So if there's no one in the minecart, it just sits there, and let's say that someone's pressed the button and then decided they want to do something else. When you come along, the minecart will still be sitting in there. So it's a really good system. I'm just going to set that up quickly and then show you the redstone. So this is ever so simple. All we're doing here is we're taking a redstone signal from that block there, which is the tripwire, so when that's activated this turns off and changes this circuit that goes through these redstone torches up to this block here, and it's completely separate from the circuit with the button. So when we press this, we're going to get a minecart and it's not going to activate this like it did before, and then when we sit in the minecart it's going to power us and off we go. So while we're over here at the Nether hub, I thought I would swing by the trading post because I am allowed to open my trading stall. Now I've been speaking to Biffa about the ransom money. He originally asked for 32 diamond blocks, which was really excessive, and if you remember I even locked him in obsidian for asking for so much, but I've agreed that 32 diamonds would be acceptable, so I can now open up my stall. I'm going to open up this properly in a minute. But we need these iron bars to close down King Daddy D-Mac's stall because he's illegally opened his without paying Biffa, which wasn't very nice. And I also noticed that up the top here there is a sign saying no tea is allowed, so I wasn't even welcome in there when I went in there. Do you know what? I think it's like that because he took all of my items and put them up for sale. But anyway, I can now open this up, so I'll finish doing this and then we'll head over to Biffa's and give him those 32 diamonds. So I was about to put Biffa's diamonds into a chest when for some reason Final Fantasy popped into my mind. Now, some of you have seen the series that me and Biffa done together. We played Final Fantasy 2, and in that map there are bird cages that have the records in, and the idea is to hunt them down and get all of the records. So I thought I'd build Biffa a bird cage, and that's it right there. It looks a little bit different from the Final Fantasy 2 one, but that's just kind of built based on my memory. And yeah, I put the diamonds in a chest up there and all of that's obsidian around the edge as well. And funny story, I had to go down below to get the obsidian to do that, and I actually found some diamonds. So I got 4 diamond ore out of that, which was pretty cool. And then when I was over here I noticed that this sword right here was the wrong way around, and I couldn't help but go and rotate all of these. And at first I thought I'd be subtle, and then I kind of got carried away, so I'm pretty sure he is going to notice that. So what are we going to be doing this episode? That's what I've been asking myself for the last 10 minutes. There are a lot of projects that I want to continue with, and I just really can't make up my mind. I have had a great idea for the XP farm over there, and that was to actually put down some jungle trees on the top area there, and then we can kind of hide the glass behind them, or make it a part of, you know, the height of the trees, and do something really cool over there. But the problem with starting a project like that is the valve thing underneath isn't really finished, so I'm going to have to put that one off for now. And yeah, I'm pretty undecided about quite a few things that I want to get going on with, so I thought it would be a good idea to head back over to the village. It's been quite some time since we've last built a house over there, and I want to keep building houses because I've got a list of donators to get through, and they all deserve a house. But the villager project itself that I originally talked about, I think that's just going to be an aesthetical thing. These guys are pretty useless to trade with now. They've been so debuffed or nerfed, however you want to put it, that they're not really worth trying to trade with at all. So whenever we do build like a villager breeding machine, it's just going to be so there can be lots of them around this area populating the houses. Now the next one that we were going to build, we built all the ones going up to that side over there, because if you remember, we're going to do this in a semicircle, and the next one to build would be just over here. And what I said I wanted to do is build a really big one, so that's what I'm going to do. I think it's going to be about this close. It's going to start somewhere around here, so this side will have some of it settled down on top of the sand, but most of it over on this side will have support beams going into the water. So not really sure how I'm going to start doing this. It's been a while since I built one of these houses. They are actually quite challenging. Not really sure how to describe why they are, because when they're finished, you know, they look good and you don't really have to think about it. But yeah, they're quite a challenge to build, so I'm going to gather some resources and then start laying down some foundations. Okay, the foundation is laid down, and at the moment we have just an ugly rectangle. Now I think we might need to bring some more shape to the base of this, but I have an idea of how this building is going to go down. So first of all, on the previous ones we've always used a, how would you say, like you've got the wooden planks and then you've got the tree wood, and we've always used that material on the outside. So on this one we're going to do it differently and use planks, and we're also going to try and incorporate a lot more stone as well. And then for the roof, what I want to have is a gradually sloping from either side to a central point, like that. Don't know what the name for that is, but then hopefully we'll be able to get 2 stories on it. I think that will be the plan. So I'm going to have to figure out like the gradient of the slope as I go along. I was thinking at first having 2 half slabs and then going up half a block and having another 2, but that might not be enough, and I think doing one after the other might be too much as well. So it's going to be a tricky thing to judge. But the other thing is that this is 7 blocks deep across that way and 22 blocks wide, so we have a lot of space to work with, although now that I've come up here I think I maybe should have made it a couple more deep, but I don't really fancy removing all of that. Now I know it isn't much, but there's a lot going on here, and I'm seeing this thing start to come together now, so I thought I'd explain to you what I'm doing here. So we're using the light and the dark, or chocolate wood as I like to call it, and they have a nice contrast together. But the reason that I'm doing this pattern like this is because I think we can really kind of bring shape to the building without having too much more than a flat wall, if you know what I mean. So these 8 blocks here, I think I'm going to turn them into windows, and then they rest nicely on the corners of the chocolate bits, and I can do that on either side. Now the other thing that I want to do is to bring the roof up with the light wood here, I think. I'm not sure how that's actually going to work. But another part of it is that this is going to be the floor level on the inside, so we're going to have some quite high roofs on either end, and then where the actual roof starts and makes its way across, it means that because it starts quite high up, we're actually going to have a lower roof in the middle here, and then hopefully be able to fit in a nice room that has a balcony that comes just out here above the door, so that'll bring an extra bit of shape to it. But that's only me thinking about the front and the roof at the moment, so I'm not sure how the back's going to work. But I also plan to add in a few more details, like maybe changing a few of these to different types of blocks, or putting some plant pots outside the front, and just bringing more detail to it in general. But yes, I should definitely build a fair amount more before I start recording again. I made a fair bit more progress here, and I've got to say I think this probably looks ugly to other people, but I can see where I'm going with it, so bear with me. First of all, the glass that I put in here breaks up the flat surface, which is nice, and I've got the roof done, and there's a couple of changes that I want to make to that. First of all, these blocks here that extend out, I want to make them half slabs, although the ones behind them will be the normal wood colour. So that'll stand out just a little bit, but I want to bring this out an extra block as well, so there's more of an overhang. And then this open space that we have at the top here. That's where I want to have the second floor, like the room above and a balcony coming out for that. And I kind of like the idea of that room being very open, so I might have some glass walls up there, or maybe use some fence posts. But as for interior is where I think I'm going to struggle a little bit. I've got the kind of outside going on quite well. I might have to make this bigger because it doesn't really feel that spacious in here now. It's quite restricting, the width of this, so I'll have to make up my mind. Okay, I've now finished the entire back wall, the roof as well, and there's a little detail that I want to do on the outside here. It's the last bit to do on the roof that I've done on the inside, so I'll show you that now. Can you see it? We've got some stairs just up there. I've done that for every other half slab level, so where these are half slabs, it just drops down there. And do you know what? I haven't given any thought to lighting in here yet. We've got a bunch of torches on the top though, so that's why we're getting the strange lighting glitches. But this is really looking nice. I can see it looking really good once we get some shape and get some things in here. I'm pleased with the roof as well. I'm going to leave it all the same material. What I want to start doing next, I think, is get this upstairs room figured out. Because once that's in place, I think it's going to be a lot easier to figure out the rest of this building and where everything else is going to go. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, this is looking really cool. I've laid down some foundations for the room we're going to put up the top here, and what I'm finding is that this feels like a walkway, so that might not necessarily be a bad thing, because I'm thinking about how I can make this wider, or perhaps making this bit higher up as well, because the roof is a little bit low down the bottom here, but it matches up with the height of the balcony. So I'm kind of unsure on what to do. But then I was thinking that if this was a walkway, then we could have two rooms on either side. Now, I'm going to have to see if there's actually enough room to make a little miniature bedroom or something. Maybe that could work. We'd have a bedroom on either side. But then what we could do is perhaps remove these half slabs here, make them one block higher, and then the same for the ones above, and then it'll be like a nice walkway that arches up into some rooms on either side. So I think the way to go about doing that is first of all seeing if we can actually fit a room on either side. So I just got a bit further into this episode and I noticed that I was kind of talking a bit too much, so you may have noticed some editing back there, and I thought, you know what, we need to crack on. So I've deleted the last few clips that I've recorded and I'll just show you the progress that I've made. I've done these on the outside here, just little plant pots, and I think I'm going to put saplings in instead of cacti. Cacti don't really look that appealing. And then you've got like a ledge across here, and I'm not really sure that looks quite how I wanted it to, but we'll continue building and we can change stuff as we go. Then in here, I think this is the last bit you saw. I was talking about building these rooms. Now we've got pistons here with that shouldn't be a full block. I'm fairly sure that should be a stair block. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to change that, but yes. We've got stair blocks around the pistons, so the rest of this is half slabs, and above those are some lights in these two little rooms that I've built up here. And these are real cozy, but it doesn't like feel that great just having this little bed here. I don't know, kind of looks empty, like it needs something else. But anyway, these are the lights there on the ceiling as well, so they light up the roof a little bit, which means I can take some torches off of there. And then they go through the pistons and light up down below as well, which I thought was a nice touch. So this is what the balcony looks like now, and I'm really happy with this. Again though, I feel like there's something missing in this room. I've added a chest, but maybe something to personalise it a bit more. And I did wonder about changing the roof on this as well, maybe make it slope up from here and then put some glass. That's another idea that I might implement. But as I said, I've been talking about this an awful lot, and it's just one of those things. You have to think a lot when you do something like this, and you kind of want to bring the audience through the thought process as well, but it's just, it takes too much time to talk about. So I don't know what it is I'm going to do next, but I'm going to make a bunch more changes and then I'll show you how that went. I've mostly worked on the interior, but on the outside I put some saplings into these plant plots, which look so much better now. And on the inside here we've got like a seating area around where there would be a fireplace, and I kind of stopped this because it didn't feel right. Now you want a fireplace to have a chimney, which means it's got to come out further and be a lot larger. And also we can't even put fire in there because it's just going to set a light to the house. And I know there's some tricks with getting the fire not to spread, but I don't really want to risk doing something like that. So I might actually abandon the fireplace idea because it doesn't really fit in too well, although it does just look nice having it plain like that. And then we've got some glowstone in the corner with hatch doors. Now I was planning on putting plant pots on top of them with saplings in, but you can't place that on top of glowstone, so I put the half slabs on top. I thought that looked okay. added in a window here with a nice view of the ocean, and then I've added in some excuse me, I've added in some skylights up the top here as well. Nice view of the sun. And on this side you see the other house, but it's not particularly bad. And then down the bottom on this side I've added this nice kitchen area which I really like. Got some bar stools and like an eating area from this side, and then this kitchen area is kind of raised up, which I like. It looks down over the eating area, and I couldn't think of too much more to do than this in here. So I added this window and it doesn't have a nice view, so I might take that out. But that is all I'm going to be doing on the house for this episode. I didn't really expect it to take that long, although I think if I'd have given it some thought, the size of the house should have indicated that this was going to take some time. So a couple of episodes ago I asked all of you how long you've been watching Minecraft videos for. I was just curious and I was expecting a mixed range of results, but it seemed like a large percent of you have been watching for between a year and a year and a half, and one thing I was expecting was quite a few people to say they'd only been watching for a few months, but there wasn't many of them at all. It was mostly people who've been watching for a year, year and a half, and there were quite a few veterans as well. People have been watching for over 2 years since the alpha days, which is really interesting. But anyway, this episode was double Hermitcraft, and I said I was going to talk about that more at the end, and because I've edited my episode and cut out things because I was talking too much, this next clip will seem a little bit out of the flow. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about is the double Hermitcraft episode. It may seem a bit strange to upload 2 episodes in one day, and it's something that people don't really do in the Minecraft community, I've noticed, but in the FIFA community it's a really popular thing to do this thing called double upload. And the idea is that the second episode is obviously already recorded, it's there for you guys to watch later on in the day, but if you want to support the channel and help me out, then you have the opportunity to unlock that episode a little bit earlier. And the reason that I chose to do this is because I monitor my channels in 2 ways. First of all, by the comments that people leave, and that's always positive and supportive, and in that respect it feels fine to me. But the other one is views and likes and things like that, and they've been like taking a bit of a dip lately, and it's kind of demotivating to see that happen when you're putting in so much effort. So I wanted to give this a try, because if you guys like the video, it exposes it, it gets it out there, and that helps the channel grow and it motivates me as well. So what we're going to do with this double upload thing, and today we're just trying it out as an experiment, and then we'll take it from there. Maybe we'll do it more often. But the idea is you're going to get 2 episodes of Hermitcraft. It's going to be longer than a normal episode, the both combined. And then if you guys want to hit the thumbs up button and support the channel and help me out, then you'll get that other episode earlier. So the way it works is if we hit 1,000 likes, then I'll publish the other video earlier. So from the time that this episode comes out, it'll be 4 hours later that the second episode comes out. But if you guys want to support the channel, hit the thumbs up button, then I will publish that second episode when we hit 1,000 likes. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Of course, if you have any thoughts on the idea, please let me know in the comment box. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.